What happens when the client tells you no false ceiling and no lights on the ceiling? We then build a home that literally glows. And let me show you how we pulled off a project like this. Hi, I'm Amita from Bravura Spaces, and let me take you through a project which by far is one of the most unique projects that I have designed all through my career. The brief of this project was, I think they needed only two things. One is no false ceilings and no ceiling lights. So we built a home that literally glows, and there is some dim lighting, there is ambience, there is mood, and there's a lot more drama. So come along. So like I say, people make places. The first time when I met this couple in their home where they were living at that point in time, it was sometime in the evening around 5:36 and the sun was setting. She welcomed me into her living room, and that's where the story starts. So this lady walked around the room, switching on every lamp, table lamp or a pedestal lamp around the living room with a soft, gentle smile on her face. And that kind of gave me the indication of what this home is going to look like, minus ceiling lights. So yes, there were another thing that had to come into this home very strongly is the history of both the partners. So the gentleman is born and brought up in Kolkata, and he has seen the British era, the architecture, the design, and specifically the wainscoting that he wanted to bring into his home. Personally, I'm not a wainscoting person. I feel that it's one of the most done to death as an element, and I kind of stay away from it as much as possible. And the lady had a lot of furniture. They had a lot of their own collection of art that had to find place in this new home of theirs, and that is what has really set the trend, the vibe of this house. So come along. This entire house has a lot of wainscoting, has one theme which is across the house. So it's not that every room is a different theme. No, the entire home is one single theme, starting from the main door and its brass knocker. The wainscotings were designed and planned in a manner that every switch plate was accommodated, and every painting, every artwork of theirs was accommodated and was measured, and actually massive drawings were done to create that entire look and feel that we enjoy today. Another unique part of this home is actually the den. So it kind of reminded me of the Sound of Music, Colonel Pickens kind of the library that the Englishman had. So there is this den which is absolutely unique. My client wanted to house almost about 10,000 books because he's a voracious reader and collector of books, and we needed to find place for that. Yet we did not want to give up on a guest room of this home. So come along, how we created this unique spot. This apartment is a 4-bedroom apartment with 3 main bedrooms and the guest room, which is the 4th room, which we needed for those occasional guests that one may have, but also the place which is going to house about 10,000 books, which is something so important to the family. So this is how this entire room was done, with books lined all across, all the way up till the top. What we did was, the dimensioning was kept in a manner that there is not going to be pile of books, they're not going to be one after the other, which really makes the entire thing, there's no value in it because you will not be able to see all your books and access them and whatever. So the entire depth was created, has been kept between 12 inches and 9 inches depending on the books and what we needed there. And that is how this entire space is looking, included an air conditioner, the books, and this entire thing goes around and gets merged into a guest closet, because you need to have a closet for the guests that are going to come. The bottom is where we have added shutters for documents and other things that we may not want to have them accessible to everybody. The lighting here is those few niches for their specific artwork, and of course the table lamp and the wall scones that create the whole ambience. The color green was, of course, after many samples until we got the right green. This Chesterfield sofa is actually a sofa cum bed. It pulls out, and this can become a work function like a complete bedroom. And if you are wondering where is going to be the washroom, then hold on. This was engineered by us to become a whole book rack cum door, and there is a completely functional washroom on the other side. And then once we close, there is no indication where the door is, and that is actually the highlight point of this entire room. It just merges seamlessly. So obviously there was some amount of engineering we had to do and some sampling that we had to do before we came up with this. This room also functions as the study for the family and also a guest room. And the fact that if there are only 3 or 4 people, this is a very cozy nook for them to enjoy an evening. And I think a house full of memories and warmth. That is really the highlight of this home. My love for powder rooms went up a notch in this washroom, which was done in a typical way with wall scones, a very rustic mirror. This is wooden tiling, wood look-alike tiling, the black and white floor, matte gold finishes, wainscoting, and of course, my favorite way of hiding ugly exhausts behind wainscoting as a theme and artwork that belongs to the family. This entire home actually had the drawing and the dining as one space, and then there was a family lounge. Here obviously civil work is part of the entire design, and that's how this entire place was replanned. So we gave it these glass niches, glass windows on both the sides. So what I like about a space is the sense of discovery. You know, you have closed it a little bit and certain parts are open, and there is a sense of discovery, and you kind of see what lies beyond, and that is what really intrigues me about any space and discovery of any space. Of course, the hardware, as you can see, is very vintage, custom made to fit this, and it's a double door which kind of takes us back to that era as well. So this is a very large living room that has been kept as it was. What has been done is, created 2 seatings. If you look at the furniture, it is a great combination of vintage Chesterfield and linen sofas, which are very, very earthy in their outlook and the vibe that they have. The entire space, of course, is lit only by wall scones and some table lamps. The only place where we by force had to add false ceiling is where the hydrant pipes were going. So we had to kind of conceal those pipes. So we added some cove lighting there. So that also adds to the ambience of the place. So that is the entire seating. We do have, when the family is entertaining, then there's an ottoman which comes in between, and it kind of makes the gathering even cozier. We created this entire panel in wood that kind of demarcates the formal living area with the little informal area. What it really does is it gives the family multiple options. So I do remember when we were here for dinner one evening, so a bunch of us were sitting here, and moment we moved to the the dining table, then a lot of spillover of the dining table came into this lounge. So actually there are ways and means of using this entire space, and the kind of flexibility that a design offers. I think that is extremely important for any home that I like to design. So this is the way that entire space kind of merges into it. That dining area where the dining table is actually was a separate room, and this beam kind of demarcates that area. So we got rid of this wall. Now what it did to us, it gave us this beam which we gladly embraced. What it also gave us is that this entire area did not have flooring, it had wooden flooring, so we let it be as that, and actually we are using that little problem, so to speak, as a defining factor for our design. So this is the formal living room, the family lounge or whatever, and this is where the dining table comes in. The wooden flooring just adds to the entire look. The couple here are music enthusiasts, and they also play the piano, so we have a very cute spot for the piano. The focus, the wall scones and the table lamps are a very important aspect of what is lending the vibe to this entire area. I also run a manufacturing unit, and I am a self-confessed almost a person, almost like a kabaddi person. I hate wasting wood. This entire set is actually, this set including this cabinet is about 80 years old. This was in the gentleman's family home. We got it back here from Calcutta. We also scraped off layers of paint and polish that it had seen over the years. This entire dining table and the chairs, we scraped it down to where the wood was, and we repolished it and gave it this look and feel. And I think the detailing of this is to die for, something that just cannot get replicated in today's time, and that is what makes this entire place so unique. Their artwork, a vintage Chester which is actually part of the family heirloom, little knobs and bobs and things here is what makes this entire space very unique. We also created, because I love being functional, I love being sensible about a lot of things. So, if there is air conditioning, we need to save the air conditioning, we need to work on the efficiency of the air conditioning. So we created this entire slide fold door, again in the same look and fashion. So this is what opens up, moves to the side, and this entire space opens up, or you can close it when, in the monsoon months when Delhi becomes terrible. This leads to a little niche, a little alcove into the area, which in a lot of places is like a mandir. But anyways, we took away something into the kitchen. The rest is here, a very smooth, a very small, cute bar, good enough for the amount of drinking that the family does. So it does have its own wine chiller, also space for a refrigerator, some amount of storage, a little light, and I think we are good to go. It has worked, and I've personally been here in a lot of gatherings. It just works function. I mean, it's just fantastic the way it works as a home bar, and it very convenient. All the storage is looked after here, and one is not going back and forth with trying to get more glasses which are stored elsewhere. It's very self-sufficient here. What is unique about this entire home, and we did a lot of mehnat on this, is the entire corridor, which was going to house a lot of artwork. It had, of course, the wall scones that were there, and the cove, because there is lighting that is concealed, the cove lighting and the hydrant pipes that are there. So all the wainscoting that you see, including a painting, a switchboard at the bottom, was actually part of a drawing that we created for this entire wall. That is how it goes. It matches the line of the doors which lead into different rooms here. And the highlight of this actually is a closet space. I'm a storage queen. So what we did is we matched this entire thing, including the color. So on the face of it, at first glance, you really don't see this as a closet, and it is so seamless. This actually takes in a shoe rack, a fitting which revolves and houses almost about 38 pairs of shoes, and yet it doesn't show. This entire thing is their winter closet, which is a very important aspect of Delhi and the wardrobe that we create here. The entire theme has been carried across the entire house of all the rooms of this home, and that is what really makes it supremely unique. So there is, of course, there's wainscoting behind the bed, and has the wall sconces and the bed lamps, and that is the entire lighting. What is also there is very beautifully how we have integrated their sound system, because the main television watching area is actually their bedroom. So this entire bed, of course, was made new. The inspiration was from an existing a reference that we took. This entire this little piece, which serves almost like an ottoman in the bedroom, is again part of the furniture that came from the family home. We scraped off layers and layers of polish and gave it a different color, added some upholstery, and that is what is now very beautifully being used in this home and has increased the amount of seating in the room. This chair is not a chair. It has a name, which is Fatty. So in our drawings, this family, much like me, they kind of they had nicknames for almost a lot of their pieces of furniture. So this one was Fatty, and in our drawings when we were plotting all the things, so this guy was Fatty, and that is the name that it had. And I think that is the beauty of this entire journey that I also take on with my clients in designing their home. This furniture that is part of the seating is again vintage and from their family home. So if you know, this old furniture has teak and rattan in it, and there are two settings where you can actually change the reclining of the chair and make it up to your comfort, and that is again very beautifully integrated in this house, and it is part of their core memories of their home, and yet it doesn't look out of place in a home that is which is modern in context. And that is how this entire place has been created. Of course, a work desk and something else there is again part of their entire system, taking you to the guest room. The guest room has the same theme. We have used the furniture that they had existing, the entire wainscoting and lighting that has been integrated, an ottoman at the end of the bed, and generally this is where the guest room the guests are going to use. So of course there is a television, comfortable seating, but we've also given something like a luggage rack which has been integrated into the entire scheme of things. So this is where some amount of wardrobe and a luggage rack is given for the guests to park their suitcases when they walk in and enjoy this space that has been created for the extended family. This is Amita signing off from yet another Bravura Space. And if you have stayed this far, do remember to hit subscribe and the bell notification so you know every time a new video is dropped. See you around. Stay tuned.